Welcome back to these series of lectures on Western civilization. We talked about the fall of Rome last time. I'm going to spend a few minutes today talking about Islam. I guess we'll start with Muhammad. His lifespan from 570 to 632 of the Common Era. Muhammad was an orphan. He was a caravan driver, and he married a wealthy woman, I believe, who owned some of the caravans. In his middle age, he had visions from the Archangel Gabriel. This was essentially a recitation from Allah, from God. So it's not so much that Muhammad wrote the Quran as he took God's dictation, took Allah's dictation. And that's what the Quran is. It's the voice of God. Of course, Muhammad is Allah's prophet. In 630 of the Common Era, Muhammad and his followers conquer Mecca. This is one of the larger urban gathering places in the Arabian Peninsula. Let's talk about the geography of Islam for a moment. It stretches an immense distance from Morocco in North Africa all the way to Sumatra in the South Pacific. From East Africa to East Asia. Only the peripheries of Europe are untouched by the expansion of Islam, and it does expand very quickly. I suppose the core of Islam lies between sort of the Nile River in Northeast Africa and the Oxus River in Central Asia. We'll show you some maps of the expansion of Islam. You can see how it spreads from Arabia across North Africa, jumps the Strait of Gibraltar into Spain, will encroach into France. And then, of course, in the east, Islam will expand rapidly eastward across Asia, into Central Asia, and then, of course, will collide with Christianity in the Byzantine Empire. And this collision, of course, is what will bring about the Crusades. Islam is a great unifying factor in world history. Much like the Roman Empire established a sort of uniformity over the Mediterranean basin for many centuries, Islam is going to establish a great empire of faith, shall we say, across much of the civilized world. The three great Islamic empires that we'll briefly touch on, the Ottoman Empire, closest to Europe, centered in what today we would call Turkey, and extending through the Middle East. And then if you move east from that, you have the Safavid Empire, located today in what we would call Iran. And then if you continue east from there, you would encounter the Mughal Empire, located in what today we would call Pakistan and parts of northern India. Islamic power will probably peak, I guess, in the 16th, 17th centuries, and then will begin to decline during the age of imperialism, whereby the European traders will begin to establish little Europes all around the world and will begin to encroach upon the old Islamic kingdoms. There are Islamic tenets. These are traditional. I'm going to list them for you here. Jews and Christians are regarded as, quote, peoples of the book. That is, Islam shares with the Hebrew and Christian prophets, Abraham, Moses, Jesus. A second tenet is this. Muhammad's role is that of the final prophet. And the Muslims pay homage to him as the final and most important prophet. Muhammad's revelations, like I said, are really the recitation of God himself. And these are recorded in the Quran, the Holy Scripture of the Muslim faith. I'll mention four is Sharia. This is Islamic law. In theory, highly egalitarian, perhaps except for women. Sharia, of course, is a matter of some controversy today as ISIS spreads its influence across parts of Iraq and Syria and North Africa. The five pillars of Islam, also traditional. First is the acknowledgement of Allah as the only God and Muhammad as his prophet. Second, a good Muslim should pray to Allah daily while facing east or facing towards Mecca. A good Muslim should fast during the holy month of Ramadan. Fourth, a good Muslim should provide alms or charity for the poor. And then fifth, a good Muslim should take a pilgrimage to Mecca at least once during his or her lifetime. I want to mention some reasons for Islam's rapid expansion and early success. First, Islam is a religion of breathtaking simplicity. If you accept Allah as the only God and Muhammad as his prophet, then you're there. Compare this to the rather convoluted theology of the Christians with their Trinity and various other theological dogma that make Christianity considerably more complex than Islam. One book, one God, one prophet. Again, simplicity itself. Islam emphasizes equality among people. Merit is recognized, and this, of course, allows them to gather new recruits and followers as they expand. Islam provides a healthy balance between the clerical and the secular. Muhammad himself was a caravan driver and was engaged in business. So there is a place for commerce in Islam, perhaps more so even than in Christianity. You remember the New Testament criticisms of the profit motive, of loaning money at interest, and things of this nature. In Islam, there's an emphasis on courage and hospitality. This is part of the sort of Arabic culture, which is grafted onto the Islamic faith. So these are factors in the expansion of Islam. The first caliphate is based in Damascus. This is from 661 to 750. And then the Abbasid Caliphate will later be based in Baghdad, in what we today would call Iraq. Now, I'm going to finish up here by talking about the Shia and the Sunni. These are the two great sects within Islam. The Sunni is by far the largest in number. The Shia are concentrated in Iran, what we would call Persia in antiquity, and in southern Iraq around the city of Basra, and in South Asia. The Shia believe themselves to be the elect among Muslims. We have an elect in Christianity as well. We'll talk about Calvinism when we get to the Protestant Reformation, and we'll find a Christian elect. The Shia belief revolves around the figure of Ali. Ali, of course, was the cousin of Muhammad and his son-in-law. Ali was the last of the four early caliphs who followed Muhammad as rulers of Islam. The Shia believe that the Prophet chose Allah, or Ali, as his successor, and that he should therefore have been the first caliph. The only caliph that both the Sunni and the Shia accept is Ali. The Shia doctrine of the imamate is distinct from the Sunni concept of the caliphate. The Sunni caliph has political and military power, but not the Prophet's religious authority. The Shia imam's descent is traced directly from the Prophet and Ali, and his authority is sanctified in this way. Think of the Pope in Christianity. The Pope's authority is based upon that lineage which goes all the way back to Peter. Remember, Jesus said, "Upon this rock I will build my church." So Peter's authority, or the Pope's authority, is derived from his lineage to Peter. Peter's authority, of course, is derived from his physical proximity and close association with Jesus. It's the same here in Islam. The Shia imam is both a political leader and a religious guide. We see some of this being acted out today in the Middle East as the battle continues between ISIS, a Sunni organization, and the Shia government, which is still in power today in Baghdad, supported by the United States. At stake here, of course, is the line of succession. Who has the power, who has the authority to rule over Islam. So that's a brief introduction to Islam, just some basic ideas here. We'll follow this up with a discussion on the Crusades, where Islam and Christianity are going to collide at the turn of the first millennium. Thank you.